you be watching?
The playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely. Absolutely.
We asked Terrence. He said no.
Oh, you got to
He's
keep in
like-
mind, I haven't played ball in a while. Like, hey, yeah, I got the itch. I'm still dying. So yeah, I'll be watching everything.
When you think about your season as a whole, I know you didn't get to play as much time as you would have liked, as you said, we still have the itch. But what can you take away positively about what you guys were able to do this season in particular?
Me in particular, when I think about this year, like I'm grateful for it. Obviously, I broke my femur. You know what I mean? Like who does that? Like I'm serious. Like I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
But like in that, I got moments at home that I would normally never get. You know, this is year 10 for me, and I got moments with my daughters and my wife that, like, in the middle of the season that I would have never gotten before. As well as, building relationships with these guys and normally after the season, like in LA, in New Orleans, and in Portland, like after the seasons, I sprinted home to go home to Cleveland. Like, I'm here for a while. We're in no rush to go anywhere. I love Atlanta. I love the guys. This year has been up and down, but I'm grateful for it because it allowed me some moments that I wouldn't have gotten normally.
So did your family move down here this season to be closer to you?
Yeah, they're here with me. Yeah, they go everywhere with me.
Very nice. And then when you kind of look at your off-season plan a little bit, jumping ahead, what does that process look like as you continue to get through the rehab and try to be ready for next year?
Well, fortunately but unfortunately, I was days away from being done with the rehab. So I'm going to the off season relatively healthy, and I think it just entails a lot of family time, just sitting on the couch and being dad. That's really what I'm looking forward to doing. Basketball is I'll play where I play next year. I'm not worried about that right now, and I'm just excited to go home.
Larry, I wanted to ask you, what was it like for you being like one of the sole vets on the team and being that voice in the locker room? What was it like for you to have George come on and be an additional voice for the younger guys?
No, it was great. It was great. When there's one voice, when there's one adult in the room, now I wouldn't say adult because, CC and Bogey and Hunt and, a lot, adults, but you know what I'm saying, vocal adults. It's easy for the younger guys to kind of tune you out and it's just the old guy chatting. But, having George there, just added a level of, kind of playful banter me and him could have back and forth and kind of teach them lessons through arguing with each other. Just kind of spur on conversation. And when George got here, our plane rides got more lively. Our bus rides got more lively. Our conversations in the locker room just picked up. Of course, me and George go 12, 13 years back to a Nike camp in college. So we've been knowing each other for a while, and he's one I'm thankful I got to play with for sure.
That camaraderie, how beneficial do you see that being towards a team having real success?
It's bigger than people realize. It's bigger than people realize. When you get in a foxhole, you want to turn around and know that the guy that you walked in there with is going to be behind you. And, nothing builds that chemistry, that camaraderie more than just guys being dudes in a locker room. Guy just chatting on a plane, talking, arguing, but playfully. Like everybody, it's sports. It's the connectiveness, the ability to I throw a pass away and, Trey can look at me and demand better. And I know he wants better for me, not showing me up. He's not doing it, but I know he wants better for me because we've had these conversations. I know he cares for me. And O could miss a lob. Sure, we're gonna keep throwing the next one because that's my guy. I got him. Little things like that to where it just kind of keeps you together instead of fracturing it at certain key moments. And those are just examples, of course. But I do think it's massive. Obviously these guys are all real young together, and they're gonna have time to learn and grow, and I think they've got a special thing going. There's some really, really, really impressive dudes in that locker room.
Larry, we've been talking about, the veteran and veteran leadership and so forth that you bring to this team in the years that you've played in this league. In comparison to your other seasons that you've had in this league, maybe other teams or not, whatever, but maybe not better, maybe not worse, but just different? How was this team different? How was this year, this season different than your ones from previous?
I would say there was just so much learning. There was so much learning in this year. I learned Quinn. That's an entire. There are in the NBA there are certain languages spoken. Pop has a language. T. Lou has a coaching tree of different calls and terms and whatnot. And Quinn, I thought I spoke every NBA language before coming here. I don't. Now I do. There's a fourth that I learned this year. It's Quinn. So learning that language was interesting. I think I learned a lot about Dyson that I didn't learn last year. I learned he is who we thought he was. He is who we thought he was in practice last year. I learned that Trey is better up close than I thought he was. You only play against guys. You never get to be in the gym with these guys, so you never know. I learned he's just better be lucky he's not 6'7". The game's so slow for the guy. It's just incredible. I learned that the work ethic of a 19-year-old over the course of a season can change your outlook on a potential career. The way people were talking about this kid at the beginning of the year to where now it's like, yeah, that dude's gonna be just fine. Mm-hmm. And to see him work every day, and not that, see him work every day, dude, born in 05. You know how bad that hurts? But to see it every day, go from, I don't know what he was shooting before, but to see the hot streak he had on at the end of the season when most rookies are getting tired, I learned that work at a 19-year-old. All right, that's awesome. We learned the O's a starting center. You never got to see it. I learned that I like leading a whole lot more than I had really thought. I had never been the old guy. Now I'm the old guy, and I really enjoy it. I've gotten to learn a lot. Like I said, I've enjoyed Atlanta, but this place, whether I'm here or not, is a bright, bright future.
Larry, did you have a vision of what a vet is supposed to look like before coming here, and did that change any time this season of what you think a vet is supposed to look like, how they're supposed to talk, and things of that sort?
One of the biggest things that I think we as players see and pick up on faster than most is it's part of my language, if you're bullshitting, we see right through you. So I think a vet or anybody in a locker room there's no right answer for that. I'm different. I look and sound different than the vets that I had. My vets were, I had Roy Hibbert, Lou Will, Nick Young, Brandon Bass, and Kobe out in LA. I'm not any of them. But I carry their message with me and pass it on to these guys. As I picked up some messages of my own that I'm trying to pass to these guys. So I think there's no perfect answer of what a vet looks like, but what I learned is my style. I learned who I am as a vet. Kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Speaking how you were about Dyson, you were the only one kind of who knew a little bit up close about his game coming into this year. Just how proud are you of him that he made the most of his first real chance playing regularly?
Yeah, no, and that's the word, proud. That's the word. That going from last year and seeing him just, he would not shoot. That little spin floater he's got, the floater, would not shoot it. And we'd see it at practice. This guy, he's got great touch. He can finish around the rim. Shoot. And of course, we had Herb in New Orleans, so it's hard. That's a hard person to get in over when you've got a elite defender sitting behind and another elite defender. So it was tough. But in practice, if Herb wasn't on one team, Dyson was on the other, and defensively, we had to steer away from both of them. So we knew Dice was, you knew he had the intangibles to be a quality defender, but this is incredible. The guy's setting records that we haven't seen before in a long time. But bigger than that, it's everything. He's talking more. He's hanging out with guys outside of basketball. He's making jokes. His personality has completely come around since coming to Atlanta, and I think, you know, Quinn's got a major part in that. But you know, sometimes a different situation is all a guy needs to, you know, to show what he's got. And Dyson, I just could not be more happy for the guy, because like, guys get presented opportunity in this league all the time. O got presented with an opportunity and he took it. You know, certain guys have been presented with opportunities and they just can't. They aren't ready for it, or it passes them up. And Dice seized it to the highest. You know, to me, there's a no-brainer, the most improved. But a guard, if this guard can't win Defensive Player of the Year doing what he did, it's just, we need to redefine the award and call it the big man. You know, call it the big man. The kid is special and he's going to continue to be so.
Is there a particular, like, I don't know if it's necessarily like attribute or characteristic about this team that maybe we don't see on the outside as media members or Hawks Nation diehard fan bases and what have you? You're in here with these guys every single day, so you're obviously seeing everybody in, I guess, just a different light or what have you. The camaraderie, the chemistry, all that kind of stuff. Is there something that we just don't see?
I would say something that, well, I don't know if it's not see or maybe taken for granted, is the resiliency. You keep in mind, these guys are all super close, right? Every one of them are from 20, or from, I guess, now 20 to 24. And they're all close. They all got drafted in the same time. They've known each other. And so to beginning of the year to watch, hey, we got this, we're pretty exciting. JJ's awesome. Who knew? JJ is awesome. 20, 10 and 5, and then watch him go down. You know, like, that hurts. You know, it hurts these guys. Like, him and O are close. That hurts when you see your friend go down like that. Kobe, same thing. You know, the Bogey's been here for 6 years. He left. Clint had his, you know, ups and downs with his hands this year. You know, I came and went, you know, on the court, off the court. Like, there's been a lot of, Hunt left, who was here for 6 years. We got T-Man and George. There's been a lot of turnover and turmoil for this team. And they've remained steady. Zach's remained getting better. Dyson's gotten better. Trey has been, you know, the rock that we needed him to be. O's gotten better. Like, there's been a lot of turmoil, and they've responded as such. You know, that last night, I don't even feel like we lost that game. They beat us. You know, that they beat us. We forced the Miami Heat to beat us, which is for this young of a team, that's about all you can ask for. And they made some shots that smack them in the ass. Good game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious. Like, we made them beat us, and that's sure, there are no moral victories, but you should take that home and be proud of that. This team is resilient. These guys fight.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good off season.
Take care, guys.